Dear viewers, welcome to the weekly roundup. Thanks for joining. I'm making an episode every week, so if you enjoy this, subscribe. We are close to 100 subs, so let's dive in. Starting with reveals and announcements. Sanctum Breach Rebirth, the solo dev hardcore ARPG by Sam Keats, announced that the final content patch is finished. This game is a resurrected older game. Sam Keats rebuilt the thing entirely and now the content is done. All that is left is testing and bug fixing and balancing, and then the game will be reborn, most likely before the end of the month even. This is great news. Owners of the original Sanctum Breach will be provided a key, which includes me, and then we can see what the new game is like. I'm going to have a look for sure. Spacepunks entered open beta and is now free to play. Previously the game was in paid, closed beta. I played that, I was not very impressed, but who knows, the game might have improved quite a bit. It's another game to check out someday and see what the devs have improved over the last year or so. Achilles, Legends Untold, the mythical isometric ARPG that has more of a Souls-like combat than a hack and slash combat, has an official release date. May 12th, the game launches into early access. I played the demo back in the day. It was okay but clunky, but also promising. This isn't the type of game that we see too often. The setting and the lore is great, the combat quite unforgiving, but it's not bad, and I'm curious to see what the early access will bring. More release date announcements, because Loot River launches May 3rd. This game is high on my list, it just looks so fun and original and I can't wait to play this one. You probably want to put this on your wish list, it is truly something unique. Outriders announced their first expansion called World Slayer. After a very rocky launch and several months of getting the game in a playable state, Outriders ultimately shaped up to be a very decent game. I played it on Game Pass, both the campaign and the endgame, and I think Outriders is a very solid game after all. So I'm excited for more content and I hope it comes again to Game Pass, because on Steam it's gonna cost you $40, which I feel is a lot of money. The devs from Sengoku Dynasty released their first insider video, basically just announcing there will be more insider videos in which they will explain this game further. I'll be following those and keep you updated about this Japanese city builder RPG, a game that I'm actually very interested in. Proceeding with the Patch Plaza, bringing an overview of patch news. The Slormancer released the Mage Academy Update 2. It brings Act 3 with 9 new missions. There is an Act 1 rework. You can unlock 1 more Ancestral Stone. The level cap was increased to level 60. There are 7 new Cataclysms, which are basically debuffs based on the damage type you're using. Fire applies burn, cold damage applies chill, you get the idea. There are new exaltations, a new breach event which happens when you close the portals, and of course balancing and bug fixes. Legend of Keepers released a free update called Rise of Neptunians. Neptune is the god of the sea, so you can expect aquatic creatures like the sharks in a video. The harp was the instrument of sirens, sea witches, and I'm sure other oceanic surprises made their way into the game. This game is a lot of fun, with you as a dungeon master trying to stop the local heroes from pillaging and looting your dungeon. On top of this, they announced their final DLC called Soul Smugglers, including a new master, 5 new missions and promotions, the graveyard, which allows you to bring monsters back to life in various ways. There are exclusive game mechanics in the form of soul fragments that can be stolen from heroes to upgrade monsters and promotions. There are 10 Psycho Pump monsters, 3 traps and 5 artifacts. This last DLC will be available this summer. Solasta, Crown of the Magister, dropped a new DLC. The first one, I think, it's called Lost Valley. It's a mix of both paid and free features. 2 to 4 player multiplayer is free, just like Chant spellcasting, updates to the random encounter system and a dungeon maker upgrade. If you buy the DLC, you get a new campaign, 9 new subclasses and additional content for the dungeon maker. Ghostlore, the retro ARPG that is somewhat of an overnight success it seems, implemented a loot filter in their latest patch. I'm sure that's going to be appreciated by a bunch of players, especially when you see this on your screen. And finally, Timberborn dropped a patch called This Is Not Update 2. This patch brings night and day visuals, a settlement panel and job priorities, so you have much more info on which beaver is where and what he's doing. There's a new map, a new-ish map, 2 new decorations. Some buildings were made considerably cheaper to build in terms of gears, and of course bug fixes. Timberborn, which is a beaver city builder, is an absolutely amazing game that I heavily recommend to anyone, and it's only getting better in early access. Then releases. Looking back quickly at what released last week. Winter Ember, the action stealth game for €25. It has only a 34% user rating, overwhelmingly negative reviews at the moment of writing. People are citing an unpolished game, convoluted crafting, and the lack of quick saves and manual saves as the main culprits. Apparently it's also quite buggy. Not a great start for this title. Postal 4, No Regrets, you can pick it up for €34 and it sits at an 86% positive review. Early access has treated this game well and it shows. Lila's Sky Arc, available for $10, not really selling at all unfortunately. The 4 reviews it has are favorable, but that's about it. And Scapma Snowfall, released today, you can buy it for $20, but no one has so far. Too obscure, maybe, and I'm still interested though in this one despite all of it. Let's look ahead what is releasing this week. And it is a lot. The Serpent Rogue from Ukrainian studio Sengi Games is an indie game that focuses on experimenting with potions, discovery, decision making, and dealing with the consequences and evolution. By brewing potions, you can turn yourself and others into apparently anything. I'm sure it's not infinite, but you are incentivized to experiment. There's pet taming, which is always cool, and for sure the art style is definitely unique. Judging from the trailer, the combat and animations look a bit stiff, but otherwise this could be a very cute indie game. The release is April 26th. Something spicy is brewing as well within the Dune universe. I'm talking Dune Spice Wars, a real-time strategy game with 4X elements, from the developers of the critically acclaimed Northgard. You must lead your faction and battle for control and dominance over the harsh desert planet of Arrakis. We don't get many RTS games anymore, and this is a throwback to ages long forgotten. I really hope it's good. It releases April 26th. There are more RTS games on the horizon though. Crossfire Legion is a real-time strategy game featuring tactical action in furious battles across a shattered version of the near future. Raise and customize your army to engage in intense online combat and carve your own path as you rise through the ranks. It's a new generation of warfare. Developed by Blackbird Interactive, published by Prime Matter, it enters early access on April 26th. We're not done with strategy just yet, because here is King Arthur: A Knight's Tale. It is a unique hybrid between turn-based tactical games and traditional character-centric RPGs. Knight's Tale is a modern retelling of a classic Arthurian mythology story filtered through the dark fantasy tropes, a twist on the traditional tales of chivalry. It is made by Neocore Games, who previously brought us Van Helsing and Inquisitor Martyr, both very decent titles. The game has been in early access for a while, it sits at an 81% rating and it goes into full release on April 26th. Dorfromantik, which means romantic village in German, is a peaceful building strategy and puzzle game where you create a beautiful and ever-growing village landscape by placing tiles. Explore a variety of colorful biomes, discover and unlock new tiles, and complete quests to fill your world with life. This game is already in early access and it has an overwhelmingly positive rating, 97%, with almost 13,000 reviews, and somehow I heard of this game only a few weeks ago on the Future Game Show. It must be good then, and it leaves early access April 28th. Then, Guild the Deathless. Slash your way through dark, ever-changing lands in this new blend of roguelike and shared world adventure. Create your adventurer and traverse the Trail of Bones, a perilous journey where all players' choices alter the twisted landscape. Interesting. It releases April 28th. Rogue Legacy 2 is what you get if you mash Rogue Legacy and a sequel together, according to the devs. Every time you die, your children will succeed you, and each child is unique. Your daughter might be a colorblind archer and your son could be a pacifistic chef. Either way, one of them is getting conscripted and you can join the fray April 28th. Unsouled is a 2D action RPG game requiring immense elaborate control. Take a break from repetitive attack and dodge action by challenging yourself with the world of Unsouled. Dare I say, Souls-like. Pixel art, indie is not for the faint of heart, I reckon. I'm still working on Elden Ring myself, clocking 60 hours so far, but just wanted to put this cutie out there. April 28th, it's up for grabs. It's currently in early access at an 83% user rating. And finally, Silicomrades is a pencil-drawn co-op shooter for 2 players with ever-action changing gameplay. Fight against unstoppable bureaucracy while dealing with unique defects mechanic of 2 malfunctioning robots. It looks cool, and according to my very unreliable sources, this game releases April 29th, even though Steam doesn't know it yet. Well, who knows? And otherwise, maybe this is something to put on your wishlist, so you can play it later with a buddy. This week's sorts of free games, because I'm Dutch and I'm cheap. Epic has Amnesia Rebirth, a horror stealth adventure game from 2020. You are Tessie Trianon, waking up deep in the desert of Algeria. Days have passed and you are unsure where you've been, what you did, and where everyone else is. Retrace your journey, pull together the fragments of your shattered past. It is your only chance to survive the pitiless horror that threatens to devour you. Sounds like fun. Furthermore, Epic offers Riverbond, an action-adventure indie game from 2019. Riverbond is a fun and frantic couch co-op adventure game for 1 to 4 players set in a stunning voxel world. Embark on an heroic journey to complete missions, battle adorable enemies and smash everything into tiny cubes. It is the predecessor of Minecraft Dungeons, if you ask me, but it looks like a lot more fun. Game Pass added 3 games to their lineup: Panzer Corps 2, a World War II tactical game, then The Dungeon of Nahul book, the Amulet of Chaos Chicken Edition. I have no idea what I just said, but this is a tactical turn-based game that doesn't take itself too seriously, it seems. And finally, Lost in Random, a gothic fairy tale inspired action-adventure where every citizen's fate is determined by the roll of a dice. Time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? Some more Elden Ring, some more Last Epoch. I'm working on 2 more build guides and a special video for the end of the month. Apart from that, not too much going on. I'm enjoying the nice weather actually, quite a bit. And that's it. If you have any questions or remarks, put them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did and you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.